What is going on, y'all? Josh and Mike in the house. We are back. Spotify granted us another season. I mean, like, we didn't have to ask for it or anything, but at least they didn't kick us off. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the important thing, right? Like, we weren't kicked off for anything that was said, discussed, or talked about.
I know, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, that one episode where everybody got upset, they didn't kick us off.
I mean, listen, man. People can get upset all they want, but the facts are the facts. The truth is the truth, and that's just the way it is. And we're going to leave that in season 1. This is season 2. What is going on, everyone? I know that some of you might be new here, but just give you a little quick rundown. We do not interact with the chat. The mods will interact with the chat, and we're just going to shoot the breeze and have a conversation here and put this on Spotify as a podcast. So if we don't get to your questions in the chat, please don't be upset. That's just the way we roll on this podcast.
Be upset. I like it.
What have you been up to, bro?
I don't know. I mean, you know, we had actually, I think we did talk after the booze cruise. We had a couple podcasts after the booze cruise. But other than that,
we were nothing new.
Yeah, but nothing new on the cruising front. However, we did travel. We've been doing a little bit of the Busch Gardens, hanging out with See Me and also with Clock Family. And Chastity and I, we went to Texas and New Mexico, and we've got a lot of stuff planned. We've been going to a local comedy bar where we are now VIPs. And they proudly represent the Moonlight Adventures. They got that sticker up behind the bar. Kazi's in Newport News. If you're in town, Pauly Shore is going to be there in March. Can't wait for that.
Nice. Get there and get them a sticker, bro.
Exactly.
So in your adventures, man, I gotta ask: did you trip on a lawnmower, or what happened to the facial hair?
Yeah, I got in a fight with a weed eater, man. I got in a fight with a weed eater. So you know, when I was pole dancing on the "Beware of Rattlesnakes" sign, somewhere in there, I ran into a weed eater apparently, and this came out.
Okay, so we're gonna put that on Kurt and Marcia over there and See Me Travel, and we're gonna blame them since they're the ones that started that pole dancing challenge in their group. So
exactly,
that's all right. That's fine.
I busted my head. I was surprised I wasn't bleeding.
Yeah, man, you hit your head pretty hard. I seen that short. You hit your head pretty hard. Yeah, you came up pretty hard, and like you reached, man. Like and you know what the crazy part is like I know how bad that hurts because I've done it a million times. And instantly, I thought, like, his head's real hot. It's probably bleeding, and it was the corner of the sign too. So, yeah, man, you're lucky you didn't smack that harder and split it open, man. That's for sure.
It did not feel great. I had not been drinking, so I felt every bit of it.
Right, but completely sober too. Ain't that something?
Yeah. So, but what's been up with you, man? You've been busy, bro.
Yeah. I mean, December was a busy month at work, so. For everybody that's listening that don't know, I work for the post office, and like November, December are busy times with everybody sending Christmas packages and all that fun stuff. So December was absolutely slammed. It was hammered. Did everything I could with the kids, and then right after Christmas, I flew out to Galveston. For the very first time, I boarded the brand new Carnival Jubilee, the second sailing with paying passengers. Absolutely phenomenal ship. If you haven't booked it yet, I highly suggest that you do because you will not be disappointed. And then that was over New Year's. Came home, been working ever since. Next cruise is 24 days away on the Vista out of Port Canaveral for Boats and Bros 3. So I've been working on things with that. I've been making some large expansions here with the YouTube channel. I grew a ton of subscribers. Put out a couple videos that done very well. Was on a podcast with Tony B over at Lolita Loca. So it's been a pretty crazy, month of January to say the least. But it's very appreciated. It's very great. It's warming. It's nice. And I'm just here for the ride, trying to stay on top of the wave, do all that fun stuff. I got February figured out, and then I come back for about 30 days, and then it's off to Europe, baby, for 30 days. Let's go.
Yeah, we've both got some European travel scheduled this year. European, I'm a European. We both hit the Jubilee. So you getting like the front end of the Jubilee. I'll be jumping on, me and Chastity, we'll be on the Jubilee after it's been broke in and rode hard. And we'll find out if it continues to live up to the hype, which I have no doubt that it will.
It's going to live up to the hype. The one thing I could tell anybody is go spend time in Currents. It's like one of the best things they've ever put on a ship. And I really can't wait to see what they top with, because that whole current section, man, is like, it's interactive TV. So if you've been on the Celebration, you've seen where they do that travel through time, train, and all of that stuff with those windows. It's the same idea, but it's currents, it's underground, it's underwater. There's icebergs, there's orcas. It gives you that little bit of an Alaskan type vibe. But the cool thing with this one is you can interact with the currents yourself. So current spans deck 6 and 7. And on deck 7, right outside the alchemy bar, there's a tablet that you can interact with the current section with. And it's cool because the same company that did that is the same company that put those interactive TVs. So when you go past like Emeralds and you see that interactive TV that you can play with, that was the same company that put that out there. And it's neat to see that Carnival and them have an amazing partnership to be doing much amazing stuff with on the ships. So I can't wait to see what the next ship has to offer. But my favorite spot, man, on that ship was Currents, man. And that Dr. Ink's bar is phenomenal. Some of the craziest drinks you could ever imagine coming out of there. It's like an Alchemy 2.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so it's interesting that you're talking about the virtual reality part of that Carnival's bringing into the forefront. And I don't want to give away too much because I've got an idea for a video if I can ever get off my tail and get new content out. Not that I don't have enough video to put one together. I just don't have the hours to get it done. Yeah, won't say anything else. But anyway,
well, now you're hanging on suspense. I'm like, what is this? I have no idea.
Now I'm searching for ideas, right? And one of the things I was thinking about is everybody's playing with Chat GPT. You see people that are putting like pictures of cruise ships. Hey, Chat GPT drew this for me. So one of the things I did, I just put like, hey, Chat GPT, what are cruise ships going to look like in 2050? And so what it spit back out was very interesting.
Pretty like epic look, man. Listen,
but it shot a description out too, though. And when it shot the description out, it was talking about things just like the Currents gallery you're talking about, right? So it was like the cruise ship of the future. You're going to be able to take excursions through VR headsets and Neuralink, and you're going to be able to have experiences with the sea life that's around you through all these different technologies. And it did not seem that far-fetched, right? I mean, it's like, why not? I mean, so Carnival has taken the step, and this is the first I've heard of anybody doing this on a cruise ship. So they've taken that first step. I don't know what's on Icon, but
there's a lot of different things that are happening with cruise lines, right? Like you look at MSC. Yeah. MSC is one of the first ones that did that virtual tunnel on like the Meraviglia and all that stuff, where they had that big TV. Carnival took it up another level and they turned it into like window panes, and now they took it up another level with the Jubilee to where it's an interactive commodity on the ship, right? Like this is the first time I've been on a cruise ship where I could interact with the currents or whatever it may be, whatever they want to call it. But it's placed perfectly on that ship. Like where they have it placed is the perfect spot for it. You have Alchemy Bar right here. You get drunk at Alchemy from a couple sidecars. You go mess with the tablet. Next thing you know, you got sharks and orcas fighting all over everything right there in Current. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's definitely epic. They put a nice little wooden Chris craft up there, man, on deck 8. So where you would have the little Fiat on Marty Gro and then the big sign on Celebration, there's a nice little Chris craft there. It's pretty sick, man. I can't wait to finish the vlogs I got for that, to get those out. And like I said, man, I put out a Chef's Table vlog, dude. That thing's blowing up. It's almost at 6K views right now. So
yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, and even the short that you did where you got to do the behind the scenes and the back there with the guys cooking and stuff, that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, and you even got a shout out from Carnival on that one.
Yeah, bro. Carnival actually sent me another message today on the Dr. Ink's PH bar over on TikTok. They were like, "That's our go-to spot," and I was like, "Hey, great minds think alike."
Yeah, Carnival is not going to send me anything anytime soon. I mean, look, we've sailed on Carnival more than any other cruise line, and we love Carnival. But
it's tough, man, because like it's that whole content thing. Like we had this conversation on the Glory back in October. You can put something out that you think is absolutely going to do wonderful, and you put so much time, blood, sweat, and tears in it, and it tanks. It goes nowhere. And then you can take something that you put together for 5 minutes of your time, and it blow up. Well,
It's all about TNT,
every time
man.
I do a short, man, like I don't care. I mention Carnival in every single short that I put out there, whether they respond or not. I got a TikTok that's at over 35,000 views from the Jubilee, and it's just literally me walking from the front door of my cabin, through my cabin, onto the balcony, and showing you Mahogany Bay. That's literally all it is. There's no talking. There's no nothing. You know,
But how many reels are of people just walking down a beach?
Yeah.
Because like if you're sitting there at the house and you're like wishing you were somewhere else, and work wherever, and you see that and you're like, oh, okay, and we've had, especially it seems like on Instagram Reels more so than more so than YouTube Shorts, you can put one of those, they call them velocity on CapCut, velocity filters or whatever. And those seem to blow up because it's just like people are just mindlessly scrolling on Instagram and it's like, ooh, and they stop because you just put something visually appealing on there from a tropical place, or a lot of Paradise Beach footage does good for us. Anytime I'm acting a fool in a video, that seems to do.
But you always get them. Yeah, you get those views all the time, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah, but it's weird what works. Yeah.
And it is. It's weird what works. It's weird what you think will work, but doesn't work. And it's weird what absolutely is trash. But
yeah, because I'll do some stuff.
The great thing about content creation is just continuing to create more content, continuing to put out content, right? Whether good, bad, or mediocre, as long as you're continuing to do what you like to do, there's going to be somebody that watches your video regardless, because you're putting out your true passion. And that's the thing with me. Like, I beat myself up sometimes. Like that, I did a ship tour, dude, 3 decks. The first part of the ship tour was 3 decks. I didn't like the way I was talking in it, so I put all music over the audio.
Yeah.
But if I would have left it with me talking, I know other people would have appreciated it because they would have knew what I was saying, what like this area was, or what this did, or what that did. So I'm definitely going to put together a full ship tour on that, man. But it's nuts because they just announced the naming ceremony for that. That's going to be the 24th of February.
Yep.
And I'm kind of low-key hoping that Carnival sees this podcast and sends me an invite. But I'll be getting off of the Vista that same day, and I'm scheduled to go to a Billy Joel concert that night. I think that would be one of the reasons. I don't think Billy Joel is enough reason for me.
Man, I don't know. What? I'm more jealous of you going to see Billy Joel than sailing on the Carnival Vista, to be honest.
I mean, I'm getting off the Vista and then going to Billy Joel concert that night. So that's the plan, right? But if Carnival sends me an email like, "Hey, Big Daddy, we gonna put you up on an airplane and come to the name ceremony of the Jubilee," I don't know, man. I might have to hop on that plane and go back to Galveston, man.
It's interesting, though. One of the things I was thinking about. So I want to continue on I've got 2 things here, but I want to continue on the Instagram thread a little bit. So the other thing, just to complete the thought, is it is interesting because the format is the same for Instagram Reels versus YouTube Shorts. And I don't know if you've seen this, but we will put out a YouTube Short and it'll do 500 views. We'll throw it over on Instagram Reels. It'll do 10K. And it's like, what is... Definitely the audience is different. It's a younger audience on Instagram constantly, obviously. But it's still it's the same cruising audience. But
it's the same. It's tough, right? So like you look at certain things, like you look at YouTube Shorts, you look at TikTok, you look at Instagram, you look at Facebook Reels. So you can create the same video, same audio, same everything, and post that across all platforms, and one hit better than the other. But I think what's better is trying to transition all of them people into one place.
Exactly.
Like have them all funnel back to one place. Like, yes, my YouTube is my main hub, funnel back here, and then you'll get everything from there on.
Exactly.
It's definitely tough. But again, man, as long as you enjoy doing what you're doing, you're not going to regret it, right? Like me, I put something out and I'm like, okay, I do 10K or I do 2K or I do 2 views.
Yeah.
A view's a view in my eyes, right? Like at least I know somebody watched something I did and it wasn't me.
Well, it's validation, right? So, we've talked about this before and how we grow. And, I'm becoming a disciple of vidIQ, and a shameless plug. I don't get anything from vidIQ, but I take their courses. I listen to what they have to say on YouTube, and their big thing, right, is as long as the views are there, as long as the hours are there, everything else will catch up. But you're not going to get the views or the hours if you're not building content that people want to watch. And at the end of the day, that's all it is, right? So I think a lot of times, so sometimes we as cruise content creators get locked in on what the cruise community wants. It's still not it's what everybody wants, right? So
and it's tough because you can't put one video out and expect everybody to enjoy the one video, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way
you got to build a universe.
You're not going to please everybody. So the good thing is like with the subscribers, right? So say like 2,500 subscribers, at least if you have 1,000 of those subscribers that video generates to, I think that's a pretty good percentage.
Yeah.
I think that's a good percentage.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get 2,600 subscribers, 3,000, 6,000, 7,000 subscribers off of 80,000 or 100,000 views.
Yep.
So, that's the thing, right? So when I watch analytics, and some of this was some of the off-screen stuff that you and I both learned from Tony, I'm going to pay attention to click-through rate. I'm going to pay attention to retention rates and views. And then from that, study our own content. And what about this worked? What about this didn't work?
Right. Where did my followers start falling off? Things like that.
Yeah. And so, that's why, look, I appreciate that folks in the YouTube community try to help each other out, run playlists. I appreciate everybody that goes back and does replays on any of our content. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. However, if you're depending on that, that's giving you a little bit of a false positive, right? So
false sense of security in the aspect, right?
Yeah. So and you watch some of the bigger guys and gals when they go live, and they're not sitting there counting who's in the chat and who's not. So, I want to recognize that we have people that support us and they're in the chat, and we appreciate that. But we've got between the two of us, we've got like 60 people watching between the two of us, and for us to get in there, and we're going to miss somebody. So,
and it's tough, right? Like that's the thing. And with this, it's not like our regular live show, right? So this is something that we're taking and we're putting in the Spotify, and then this is for people to listen to, download, and all that. So if we took the time to interact with everybody, it would take away from the topic of the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, not saying we won't open it up here and there for a couple things that come through the chat, but
hey, so let me. So changing gears a little bit. So the purpose of this show tonight is to close out season 1 and to open up season 2. So to you, man, like what were the greatest hits for you of season 1?
Season 1, we had some pretty epic guests on, right? So like, let's eliminate the big dog out of the house. Let's take Tony B out of the house, right? Like eliminate him. Other than Tony,
he was awesome. That was an epic night.
We had some epic guests on there. We had Lovey was on there. He was great. Travel Sergeant was great. And Eric B. Like everybody that we had on, I believe we had a lot of great guests on in season 1. That makes going into season 2, trying to find those guests and get them now down a little more difficult, because you kind of always want to raise the bar, right? You always want to up that expectation a little bit more. And with us going into season 2, I know we're trying to focus a lot more on at least once a month, and that be that, right? So we got the 12 episodes in a year, 12 great guests throughout the year, and then maybe every now and then one with just me and you to go over what's been going on so far with the year.
Yeah.
I have a couple good guests in mind. I'm going to send out some emails this week, reach out to a couple of those people, and see what their ideas are. I'll throw a little teaser out there. I'm going to reach out to Tommy Casabona, my boy Tommy over there at Always Be Booked podcast, and Doug Parker over there at Cruise Radio. So they're two big guests that I know we can up the ante with a little bit versus who we've had on so far in 2023. But 2024, I want it to be an epic year, man. I want us to blow up. I want us to get monetized. I want us to do, I want us to do the thing, man. The thing. Like I want to see them download numbers go up and go crazy.
I mean, I think we got, and that's another frustrating thing about seeing where your content goes, because, I think you and I were different characters. We complement each other, but our channels and what we do are fairly similar, and the audience we have is fairly similar. And you know, I know for a fact, and if you're not doing this to be successful in some way, shape, or form, what are you doing it for? In my
Right.
opinion, I mean, you know, if you're just posting videos for hysteresis for your family or whatever, fine. But you know, let's be honest, we want to see this succeed and do well. Um, and if we're not giving it our all, again, both of us have day jobs, so why would we be putting this time in away from our family to do it? Of course, number one, I don't know about you, but the biggest kick I get is when someone sends me or Chastity a message through a video and they're like, "Hey, this really helped me," and they take the time to write 500 words in a comment because the content helped them or impacted them that
Help
much.
them re-impact. Yep.
That's the biggest kick I get, you know.
And that's what
But
I told you on the glory, man. It's like when someone comes up to you and says, like, "Hey, your video helped me decide this or helped me figure that out." Like that's a big, like, pat on the back, right? Like you did something to help somebody else out. So you're not doing this just for yourself, right? Like my goal with this is to be able to leave behind a legacy of videos for my kids when I'm gone, or leave a legacy behind just for them in general.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't do this because I want it. No, I want to do this as a business. I want this to be my full-time job.
Yeah.
I know it takes a lot. I know there's a lot involved. I know there's a lot entailed, but I feel that being able to do this as a full-time job will give me more time as a parent to spend time with my kids.
Agreed.
Yeah, I sacrifice a little bit now, but I know in the long run, when this is my job and I'm home every day, 7 days a week with my children, that'll be well worth it in the long run.
And for me, it's an early retirement. Me and Chas being able to retire early, and you know, not that we're ever going to pull the kind of money you would need for an early retirement, but this will supplement. So you know, in one way or another, you monetize social media. It may not be through Google AdSense. It may be that people see the information that you put out. People may see the videos that you do and see that you have some sort of knowledge, or they interact with you in a way where they're like, look, I know those people. So like, I understand them, you know, for the way they are. It's like Jason and Alyssa with EECC. I feel like me and Chas, like those are our people. You know,
oh yeah,
Tony and Jenny, those are our people. Like I know that we could jump on a ship with them and have a good time, right? So if we weren't travel agents ourselves, like, hey, Jenny B, hook me up because I know, you know, we're going to like the same things you guys are going to like. So that's a form of monetization as well, right? If it helps your travel agency business or whatever. And I was looking the other day on Amazon. Do you know that they live stream on Amazon now?
Yeah.
Like it's like QVC. But
yeah,
like
it's insane, bro. But they're Amazon.
There's travel
products.
people on there selling travel stuff like QVC.
It's nuts.
It's nuts.
The way the world is going right now is absolutely in a completely different way than I thought it would be after the pandemic. Right? Like I thought after the pandemic, I thought things would be completely different. I honestly will tell you that I thought cruising was going to be completely different. I thought somewhere along the line CDC would have put caps in on cruise ships and things like that. I didn't think we'd have an 8,000 passenger ship just now join the Royal Caribbean fleet, to be honest with you. That's one thing I didn't think of. But it's insane to see like how far we have come since the pandemic, man. And the crazy thing is like no matter what cruise line, no matter what airport, no matter what airline, you're always going to find pros and cons with everything.
For sure.
And that's the great thing with diversity is you can go and try everything once, twice, 10 times, 30 times, and still find something that makes you very happy and accomplish things in life. And that's the one thing.
That's what's awesome, right?
You can try different channels, different content, different ways of going about things until you know what settles and is heavy on your heart, and that's where you land, man. And that's why I landed in the travel space.
Everyone's measure of success is different too, right? You know, I
Absolutely.
mean, for you know what 1 million subscribers may be to you may be, you know, 10,000 loyal followers to me, right? It's just whatever you're trying to build, and for me, it's the more subscribers or the more followers that we have. That's this sounds very like put on, and it's not, but it's more people we can help.
And
Because
that's the big thing, right? It's
yeah.
it's like what you get more bees with honey than you do vinegar, right? So
Yeah.
in the aspect of not wanting to get stung, I'd rather see a smile than a frown type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I can make somebody smile, I know I succeeded with something.
Yeah.
And just by reading comments, man, like that, a lot of people don't realize like their heartfelt comment makes somebody feel so much better about themselves. Like as a creator, there's times after I put videos out where I just down myself because I'm like, I could have did so much better. And then I see a
Yeah.
comment that's like, oh, thanks so much. This is an awesome video. The music was great. And I'm like, okay, so Mike, you get off your back, bro. It wasn't that bad. People
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Well, and you know, you think about people who maybe they're not able to get out, right? Or, you know, maybe because of COVID or whatever, you know, they've realized that their immune system has a weakened state or shut-ins or whatever, and they still want to experience travel. And, you know, you provide that outlet to them. But yeah, I mean, what's always blown me away and what's attracted me and Chastity to this since day one was that everyone we've met in real life and everyone we've met through everybody turns out to be as authentic as they are on YouTube. That's held true all the way through. And that's awesome. I don't think you get that. I don't think that the folks that are out there on the gaming channels, I don't think they have the same experience. The cruising community is
Nah,
awesome.
I don't think so. The cruising community is
Yeah.
awesome, man. Whether it's one person or a million people, you're not necessarily just all going to have something in common, but you're all going to have each other's back at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the
To
great
me,
thing
it's
with
a
the cruising community.
continuation of the good times you have on the ship. Like
Oh
when you
yeah,
get on the ship, it doesn't seem like there's any race. It doesn't seem like there's any nationality, no
no
gender
religion,
qualifiers, nothing.
nothing,
Everybody is just
nothing.
enjoying themselves.
Everyone
You
is
live
there
your
to have a
best
good
life,
time.
and I don't care. Like whatever you do, you and let's have a good time. And I
Yep,
think
and
that's
that's
what we
that.
try to carry over into these lives, right? Is to that fun that we
Oh
have
yeah,
in
you
the
want to have
chat and
that
on the
fun. You
live.
want to bring that back on
Yeah,
because it's like when you make a video, you're not putting on a front to make a video, right? Like you're being your genuine self. Like that's me. When I introduce
yeah,
myself on my Thursday lives, that's how you're gonna see me introduce myself on a video on a ship. Like there's no difference there.
exactly. Yeah,
And the good
yeah,
thing is like you said, you bring it back over to the channel. You bring it to your videos, you bring it to your lives, you bring it to interact with people when you see them out just in the general public. Now, for you, that's a little harder because you're not, you don't live in a cruising town. But if you were down in Florida at a cruising port area, there's a high chance you would get recognized very easily.
not anymore.
So, yeah, I mean, after you found that weed whacker, I don't know,
I'm
bro.
homeless
Listen,
incognito right now.
listen, it's so hard to not look at you and be like, why did he do that? But I get it, bro. Like, I completely get it. I'm not, no judgment here.
No,
I
you're
wouldn't
judging
take
me
mine
hard.
off
It's
even if I
okay.
was asked. I,
It's all
I'm
right. You're
not
judging
judging
me
you.
hard.
It's. I asked you that question before the stream started. I asked you if Chastity liked it, and what was the
Like
answer?
is so words have meaning. I don't know that she likes it. She did ask me to trim it down. I don't think she'll ever ask me to do that again because this is what she got. Um, I need some better tools. So, you know, if anyone wants to contribute to the Josh needs a Manscaped lawnmower 3.0 fund, you can go ahead and do that for me. But yeah, I don't know. I need, so this was the longest guard I have on my beard trimmer. So this is what you get. Um, I ain't ashamed, but,
I'm not
you
saying
know,
there's nothing wrong with it, bro. But when I
oh,
can
there's something
see
wrong
a
with it.
major difference. I can see a major difference. Like it's not you're not the Josh that I know. Like you're not the Josh
Yeah.
that I met a long time ago. Right. Like you don't look nothing like that picture. And
Yeah.
for those of you listening to the podcast, you can't see it right now, but he's holding up a picture of him and Chastity, and he looks nothing like this picture.
I don't look like I could pull her in this picture at all. I
I'm
couldn't
not gonna
pull. I
say
couldn't
what you
pull
can't
Chastity.
pull, but we'll change the
In,
subject
in
for it,
this
man.
with this beard here, I couldn't pull.
Do you even call that a beard, bro? Because honestly, for someone like me, I would just call that like a 5 o'clock shadow. Because if you turn to the side, you can see your goatee's thicker than the beard on the face, right?
Yeah.
So to me, this would just be like
maybe. So this is a lot. There's a lot of white going on here. There's a lot of white and gray. Yeah, it's
you need to get
man.
that beard wash that Kurt uses before he goes away. He uses this stuff that darkens up his beard a little bit. I'm not telling
man, this is
nothing, but
some people call it a touch of gray. I call it a touch of awesomeness. That's what this is.
There you go. There you go. That's many years of experience right there, brother.
Yeah. So hey, man, you brought up Eric B, and also we had some just awesome guys and gals come on. I really enjoyed the Eric B podcast. I mean, I enjoyed everyone, but I'll tell you, and this is not a knock on Eric B, because Eric B is fantastic. I did not expect that podcast to be as good as it was, and it was a fantastic podcast. Tyler Ron, young man, blew us both away.
I'm still blown away by some of the things he's doing, man.
Oh yeah, and Josh, Josh Halstead, and he's not the kind of guy that jumps on this kind of stuff, and he came on.
No, I want to bring
what a guest he was.
I want to bring him back on so he can pick on Lovey a little bit more.
We got to wait and bring him on after we find out what the Lions are going to do in the playoff.
Listen, I'm sorry, but they're going to lose. I'm calling it here. Right. San Francisco, Baltimore. That's the way it's going to go. That's going to be the Super Bowl.
Man, I was so disappointed in that Bills kicker, man.
And if I'm giving you my opinion, I'm saying Baltimore by 6. So
I'd like to see Lamar get one. I definitely like to see Lamar get one. I wouldn't be. I don't know. I mean, the Niners have been there, so I don't know that Baltimore has it in them to get there every year anymore. So if they get an opportunity, I hope
I don't see it every year, but I think Baltimore's going to take it by 6. That's me.
Yeah. So you can blame me for the Eagles' failures this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we started watching NFL football and specifically watching the Eagles, and they started losing.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, it happens, right? I get upset. I get a little butthurt. It's been a tough year this year for Philly sports, to be honest. My Phillies with the World Series run and all of that, and my Eagles with that horrible mess of a game against Tampa Bay. I mean, even against the Giants, man. Like, all we had to do was win out. It would have been such a better season. But there's always next year. My Phillies are getting ready to report down here in Clearwater very, very soon. So I'm definitely going to be attending some spring training games. And, it is what it is. It happens, right? Yeah. Always next year. I'm not that poor, pitiful me. Oh, my team lost. Yeah, like I
am, man. I'm very hurt about my Bulldogs. Especially after watching the college football playoffs, and it's so painfully obvious that Georgia had their very worst game at the very worst time of the year. Because I still think after watching that Georgia was the best team in the nation the whole year. And that's not a homer statement. That's just like watching what went on in the college football playoff.
Here's my thing, right? If you take your Georgia situation and you put it in Philadelphia, I can blame the dogs for that too, because we got probably out of every NFL team, we probably got the most dogs on the team up there in Philly.
I know, man. Yeah, but I mean the defense. Well, yeah, no, you're right. Really, the defense didn't do their job, because how hard is it to contain Baker Mayfield? I mean, come on, man. That dude's not a real QB.
Right. But they made him look like a real QB. So what's Tampa going to do next year? Tampa's going to take him back. It's all good, man. It happens. Next season is another season. We'll see what happens.
He earned himself another year.
That's it, man. It is what it is. But
yeah, I'm excited for season 2 of our podcast, man. So I got to meet a guy out at Busch Gardens. His name is the Verol and Troll. I mean, that's not his name, obviously, but that's his YouTube handle. And the dude does great work. He takes young kids and folks who have never ridden a roller coaster before and encourages them to get on, and then vlogs it.
Nice.
And I mean, he basically, every time the gates are open at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, he's there. And we were going through the line at one of the new roller coasters there, and I was talking to him in line, and I invited him to come on the podcast and stuff. We started talking, and he's like, you hear the people at Busch Gardens on the radios. Revolt and Troll is here. Revolt and Troll. Revolt and Troll is in the line. Here comes the Revolt and Troll. But he's got this presence. He's awesome. He really is. And he wears a hard hat everywhere he goes, and it's like,
nice.
Yeah, he markets himself really well. So
I'm game to have other people on, man. That's not just about travel. Like it's tough, right? Like we got a lot of amusement parks here in Florida. I got Busch Garden passes this year for the kids. So I'm going to be doing a lot of Busch Gardens in the very near future. We just did SeaWorld last week. So I'm going to have on some adventure, thrill-seeking people, man, riding roller coasters. I'm a big guy, man. Like there's not many roller coasters I can get on. I'm 6'2", bro. So, it's not just the weight issue, it's the height issue. You get those pull downs, they only come up to here on me. Fat guy in a little coat, But
Marty Gro starts at Busch Gardens on Friday, at least here. I don't know when it starts in Tampa.
Probably the same time.
Yeah.
Probably around the same time.
I've looked at the menu for Busch Gardens Mardi Gras, and it looks awesome.
You want to know what shocked me? You want to look, like, since you brought up the word Mardi Gras, you want to know what shocked me? When I was in Galveston, they had the Mardi Gras everything. Like I thought I was in New Orleans. Like literally, I had to go to Walmart because Cameron lost his luggage, so we had to go to Walmart for a couple things. And there was so much Mardi Gras decorations. Supposedly, I haven't looked this up, but the guy that our Uber driver at the time said it's the third largest Mardi Gras in the world.
I don't doubt it.
The first one's obviously, overseas.
Yeah.
And the second one is New Orleans. And then Galveston would be the third. It's the third largest Mardi Gras parade party atmosphere in the whole world. And I was like, well, that's interesting because I never thought of Galveston as being a place for Mardi Gras.
Well, that's kind of like Savannah and Savannah, Georgia, and St. Patrick's Day. So
Chuck was just telling me about that the other day because I was telling him I wanted to go to Chicago for them to dye the river, watch them dye the river green and everything, and he's like, "Oh man, go to Savannah."
Yeah, it's so it's the largest in America, right behind New York and Chicago, which that's surprising because you would think Boston
would be the biggest one, right?
Yeah, but like the park where Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil was filmed, they turned that fountain green, the river's green. Yeah, it's a cool place to go visit.
Cool place to go visit because I wanted to hit Chicago because Chicago is a place I've never been, but I'm a real big fan of Chicago style food. So Chicago dogs, Chicago pizza, Portillo sandwiches,
Portillo's, man. Jeez.
There's so much that I want to do there and see there. And I was like, well, St. Patty's Day weekend would be a great weekend because I can watch them dye the river.
Yeah.
Get a hotel right on the water. So even if it's too crowded, I can just go right out on the balcony and look right down. So.
Yeah. So, so season 2, man. So season 2, talked about Verol and Troll. You've got some special guests that you hope to bring on. I'm sure we'll have some repeat guests. But we've met some new folks too, man. We've met some new folks through our travels, and hope to have some new folks on. And it's not all about the big guys, right? I mean, I said last night on Shooting the Breeze, Eric was the huge surprise, right? And he's right in there with us, around 2,000 subscribers. Not a super big, what you would call a big channel at all, but he's intriguing. And the way he travels is intriguing. And there's guys like Darian out there. Scott from Controversial Cruising is in the chat.
And that's the big thing, right? Like you get those guys that they travel a complete different way than like a family would travel. There's a lot, like that's a hot commodity, right? Like the way Eric B does it, man, is like the same way I would do it. And just like hostels and backpacks and all of that stuff. And that's a great way to do it. Darian, he's another good one. We get Scott on here. We can get Scott on here. Him and Bill. We can.
There's a ton of these guys, right? I mean, there's and if you get left out in season 2, as long as we don't get kicked off, there'll be a third season, and it's
absolutely.
It's just again the whole reason you and I we talked about this before the very first episode, and it's more to, and someone asked in the chat, I saw, why do you guys not interact? So the reason why is the purpose of this is everybody knows your favorite creator, your favorite travel creator through the videos, but do you really know them? And I feel like in this format where we just sit here and shoot the bull and let it go where it goes, we talk about the Eagles, we talk about the Bulldogs, Eric B, we talked about the Dolphins with him, on top of the travel stuff. You get to know who the people are, and it makes you want to watch even more.
Right, because you get to know that little bit of inside information, right? So
exactly.
Up until like here's a perfect example, dude. When we first did our first live stream together, we're going back last year when I was on the celebration. Before we even went live, it was you, SCT Adventures was on there, and then See Me Traveling was on there. And you were all like, okay, so do you have any kids? What is it you do? Because I didn't talk about that, right?
Yeah,
That's
we just wanted to have something.
Channel was about. I didn't. That wasn't like, hey, what's up? It's the Thenauticruiser. I got 3 kids. Blah blah blah. Giving you all that information. Nobody knew that. But this is where this podcast comes in, and it gives you that little bit of in-depth look into that creator a little bit more than what you see on a daily video or a weekly video or whatever.
Yeah, so, and even on the
like
ones
that style.
Yeah, and even the ones that think you know more about. So when Tony came on, for instance, how often in any of his lives do you get the opportunity to hear him talk about his creative processes? And I'll toot my own horn a little bit because the question that I asked him, and it just came to me at the spur of the moment, was like, what was it like when you were like all of us trying to get to 1,000? Because he was there at one point, and to hear him talk about that, and to make and for him to say how long it took him to get there, that's a motivating thing for all of us to continue digging.
Right, because no matter what, no matter how large a channel is right now, right, they all struggled at one point in time.
Yeah, and he'll tell you right now he's continuing
to get 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, or whatever the requirements were.
Yeah.
But no matter what, those big channels are still learning new things every day.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean the average lifespan of a YouTube channel that's quote unquote successful is 3 to 5 years. If you're going to do longer than that, you have to continually reinvent yourself. It may be micro changes, but you watch Tony, and if you watch Cruise World, they've made some changes, and they've even changed their Instagram over to Magical Travels or something like that, because they've moved down to Central Florida. They're doing a lot more in Disney. You saw that with,
he even started a new channel up, man. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Jason and Alyssa, and it's really a metamorphosis, for lack of a better term, to watch channels and see kind of how they go, and that's what's happened with me and Chas. We've just kind of realized, and when we went on this last trip to Texas and New Mexico, it's like, we love cruising. Cruising's always going to be our first love, but there are so many other, and we put a poll out. It's like, hey, we're thinking about expanding what we do on the YouTube channel, and we asked people what they wanted to see more: theme parks, unique US locations, overseas, or all inclusives. Unique US destinations won out, and that's interesting. That's a cool thing to see. So like this spot, San Antonio, New Mexico. A lot of people don't even know there's a San Antonio in New Mexico, and you darn sure don't know that there's an Owl Bar and Cafe. It's the world's only Owl Bar and Cafe, and it's fantastic. Cool little haunt. It's dirty, dingy, dark, like every Western bar you've ever thought of. But Megadeth has been there. Like all kinds of crazy, huge people have been there in this little town of 1,000 in the middle of a New Mexican desert. So those kind of things are cool.
No, man, it's right. Like that's a good thing, right? Like those bizarre destinations in the US. Like one of my favorite channels to watch on TV is Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmerman.
Yeah.
I love watching all these weird, crazy, insane places he goes to. And I'm like, if I ever go to there, I'm definitely going to eat what he's eating. I'm going to try it because it's good. I'm gonna do it. And
you don't find things like that unless you go to these little austere places. So we went to the Capitol Bar, which is the oldest bar in New Mexico. It started in 1896. Still have all the wooden paneling on the floors, the roof, everywhere. But they had this. They're a brewery now also, and they had a green chili amber ale. Oh my goodness! If you like green chilies, it was good. I loved it. So
and
just
that's
all
a
those cool little
concoction that you don't
experiences, right?
think will work.
Oh, I asked the guy, he's like, you'd be surprised. He's like, folks like you that come in from out of town generally really like it. The locals are like,
But
no.
the locals, nah, that's not for us.
Yeah.
Right, but see, again, you're not incorporating green chilies in your daily diet. Out there in New Mexico, that's part of like the daily everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, I like the idea of y'all going and doing those weird destinations in the U.S. My thing is I want to do more international. Right? I believe it's a lot cheaper to travel international than it is domestic. I can get a flight to Rome for $500. I get a flight to California. It's costing me my first point. Like it's insane the amount of money that it
even
costs to do things domestically.
Even austere Oconus destinations are interesting because I was, I looked today because we have Wyndham Vacations that we use, and I was like, just where's the cheapest flight you can jump on, and then go on Google Flights and just expand the map. And I mean, you can get down to Australia for under $400 a person.
It's insane, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if I fly to Seattle, it's going to cost me $2,000.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely insane. And that's like my flight to Rome. So here's how April set up, right? Like I fly out April 5th. I go to I'm actually doing the Brightline, so I'm gonna do a Brightline train review from Orlando to Miami. And then I'm flying out from Miami to Lisbon, Portugal to Rome. And then when I get back from that cruise, I'm flying from Rome the same day to Barcelona, and then I'm boarding the Glory the following day for a transatlantic back. For all my flights, we're talking less than $900.
Yeah.
And that's not like basic economy. That's like premium economy. That's 2 check bags. That's check bags on Vueling. Now, yeah, Vueling's a economy airline over there, but it's a 2-hour flight from Rome to Barcelona. Yeah. What more do I need? I fly economy airline here, Spirit, Frontier, all that. I'll fly that all day. But we're talking less than $900 for my flights to get over to Italy and then Barcelona. Like, come on, man. That's
what I mean. Chastity and I we're doing a transatlantic this year, and now that we're looking at it and we're exploring all the options. Since you're flying over one way and you're sailing back, it actually ends up, the travel costs, the transit costs are much less than what they would be if I was flying round trip and all that. So it's a great way. Of course, cruising has always been a great way to see the world. But if you want to sail out of Southampton, fly over to London, get you 3 or 4 days experience in London, go down to Southampton and sail out. Do the same thing in the Middle East. I mean, whatever floats your boat, pun intended. Do a Panama Canal pass. There's so many options.
Floats my boat. All I need is water.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid to jump on the newest cruise line. I'm not afraid to jump on the oldest cruise line. I'm not afraid to paddle myself around the water. But, hey, I'm game.
So did you know, and have you seen, talking about the oldest cruise line and some of the, worst ships out there, Margaritaville at Sea are going to start offering longer cruises. Did you see that?
They're actually offering longer cruises on a new ship that's rebranded from Costa. It's currently in the process. It's actually off the coast of Italy right now, getting redone. But it's going to be sailing out of Tampa, man, my home port.
Yeah,
so
saw that.
4 or 5 night sailings. It's going to do Progresso, Cozumel, Progresso, Key West, or Key West.
It's a good itinerary. It's a good itinerary.
And,
I mean, for a short cruise.
It's not bad, right? Like for anyone that's been on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, there's always been a little bit of backlash with it. I don't have an issue with it. I went on it. I had a great time on it. I went on there with Tony. I went on there with Chuck and Scott, and we had a blast. It was a great little 3-day cruise. Left on a Friday, import Saturday, back on Sunday type thing. So I really can't wait for them to bring the new ship to Tampa because I've been talking with Chuck over there, and we're gonna jump on that out of Tampa. Try and get on one of the very first sailings to bring that to everybody up there in the YouTube space. But I'm excited for it because it's a bigger ship, right? It's a Costa, it's another Costa ship, but it's a bigger ship that's got more balconies. That Paradise only has a few balconies,
but it's still inexpensive.
Maybe 12 balconies. But yeah, it's still relatively inexpensive.
Which is crazy for Margaritaville because Jimmy don't give nothing away for free.
Oh no, you already know that.
Yeah.
Even that Boss Shaker Assault, he still charges something like that though.
Oh, he found it. He's up there. He found it now. Him and St. Peter, man, they're getting down.
It's definitely going to be a good little ship to hop on. Spirit
but it's it's also a good option for a side by side. If you're wanting to experience a side by side but not wanting to break the bank, go down to Miami, go down to Tampa, hit Margaritaville at sea, and then jump on the next ship.
Yep.
Or do back to back, do side by side, back to back, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one I hit, man. I hope they do. I hope they change some things around. Like, I know where it's at, but I'm not going to get up and get it now and show it to you. But when I went on the Margaritaville at sea, my cruise card was just a plain white card. It just had my name on it, and the drink package was literally a sticker that they put on there. And I'm like, anybody could go to Staples and buy this sticker.
Yeah, I think they rushed it a little bit.
Look at what everybody else got and just slap that sticker on their card and be good with it, man. And like the alcoholic package was a bracelet. Like you wore this little bracelet and they scanned it. You had 10 drinks on it. It's not bad. I hope they change some things around. I hope there's some things that are different. But I got to ask you, man, with cruising. Now, I was having a conversation with Chuck the other day, and we were talking about certain words that I say because of my accent and from being up north. Now, you're originally a Georgia boy, right? So
that's right.
I figured he's a Georgia boy. You're a Georgia boy. I'd have to ask another Georgia boy this question. Do I say Salloway wrong? Or not necessarily say it wrong, but it sounds different with my accent, right?
Are you seriously saying it the way you just said it?
It's Salloway time, y'all. Like, join me for the Salloway.
What does Salvatore have to do with sailing?
See, you're saying Salvatore. He says Sal. Someone says Sal. But yet, if I slow down and I go, join me on the Lido for Salloway, it sounds the same. But yet he tells me it sounds normal. That sounds better.
You're still saying
an accent thing.
Sail away.
I ain't saying it like that. Don't be making.
Oh yeah, you're saying it that way. You're saying it that way, bro. The way you say sail away is the equivalent of my chin when I'm not bearded.
Join me for sail away.
Hey, that sounded better. That was better.
I just gotta bring the pitch down with him. You know what I mean? But
so how does Chuck say it? Chuck says it like me. He probably adds a Y after the A. So it's like, join me for sail away.
Sail away.
Sail away, baby.
My name's Chuck Spencer. Join me for sail away from Albany, Georgia.
It sounds like me and Chuck will probably go Georgia secure when we get together on the ship.
It's all good. I say it.
What you think about that over there, Chuck? You say that over there? Look at that.
Right. I don't want to hear none. I'm still saying it right. It's just my accent.
Look, man, we're trying to get Yankees and
the W
Southerners
word
alike.
that you drink. Say the W word
water?
that you drink.
Water.
Say it again.
Water.
Water.
Not wooder. Water.
Water.
You say wooder.
No, I don't say wooder. I say water.
You say you. Oh,
it's
well, like most people
wood or wooder.
Wooder.
Water.
How do you say? Como se dice tin roof?
Aluminum.
Como se dice? How would you say this? Pin.
Pin.
Are you a pan guy?
Pin.
Are you so? Rob is asking, are you a pop or a soda guy?
Neither. I drink water, but if I was drinking anything, it would be soda.
Yeah,
it's soda. I'm not from the Midwest. Midwest is more pop.
We used to call everything Coke. I'll have a Coke. What kind?
Either cola, cola or Coke. Yeah. But from where I'm at, man, we just call it soda. Midwest, like Ohio, out that way, Ohio and over, they called it pop.
Yeah, you're from the Wawa region. That's where
I
you're
am.
from.
I am from the Wawa region. I actually got a funny story, man. You want to hear a funny story about Wawa?
I do want to hear a funny story. It better be funny.
It's not really funny, but it's a great story about how that guy became a multi-millionaire. It's freaking insane.
Because his sandwiches.
So when
are
I was
fantastic.
born
That's
and
fine.
raised in, well, that's completely different. We'll talk about that too. I hate Wawa sandwiches now. Just saying.
You do? What?
Don't come at me. I'm just saying. We'll talk. I'll explain why. When I was a kid growing up, I grew up in Philadelphia, right? So Wawa
Born
was
and
only
raised.
in Pennsylvania. Born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, on the other side of the bridge in New Jersey, there was a store called Heritage's. Now, Heritage's was a South Jersey family-owned farm that
Wait a
turned
minute.
their family-owned farm.
Are you saying Heritage's?
Heritage's. That's how you say it in Jersey. Not Heritage's, Heritage's. That's how it's pronounced in Jersey. That's the family name. That's their last name, Heritage's. So they named their store Heritage's.
I'll believe you.
Now, they took their family farm and turned it into a convenience store. Well, the guy that owned Wawa Farms at the times was just a farmer. He didn't have a store. He came over to Jersey, talked with the guy who owned the convenience store, and he told him, I will teach you how to do all of this, but you cannot come into New Jersey. You can only keep your stores in Pennsylvania. Once Mr. Heritage died, boy came in the Wawa, broke ground on like 100 stores. Okay.
Oh man, they broke ground everywhere.
I worked for Wawa back in the day before Wawa had gas pumps and all of that. It was just a regular store. We used to make our sandwiches fresh. Like our deli meat was hand sliced deli meat. That's why I say their sandwiches are trash now, because we used to hand slice cold cuts for everybody. We would hand slice all the deli meat for the rolls. Now everything's like already pre-done. All they're doing is slapping it on some bread.
Yeah.
That's 90% of the way already baked.
But I mean, if I'm going to go get some food from a gas station and I have 7-Eleven, Wawa, or Sheetz, I'm going Wawa.
I'm not saying I won't go to Wawa. I'd get a sandwich from Wawa versus somebody else, but compared to what it was when I was a kid growing up to what they are now, it's hot trash.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'll get a lot of heat for that, because Wawa's real big, like where I'm from, man. Like we have a Wawa maybe one every 4 city blocks. you can't
Wawa
drive
brands
around the town without a Wawa.
But Wawa brands are good too, though. Like their store brand stuff is good.
Yeah, their store brand teas and all that stuff are great.
Yeah,
peach tea is one of my favorites.
And you can always find some Old Bay chips and stuff like that at a Wawa, no matter where you're at.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing too. Like Maryland, people don't like Old Bay seasoning. I really don't know what to tell you. Like real Maryland.
I don't know.
Maryland don't want their crab seasoned with Old Bay. That's just.
I love it. So we do we steam them with apple cider vinegar and put Old Bay all over it.
Man, you want to talk about Old Bay? I like Old Bay.
There you go. Hey, have you tried Everglades though? Everglades is pretty good.
I got buckets of Everglades seasoning, man.
Yeah, I love Everglades.
From Florida. That's from Florida, man.
Yeah, Everglades, Kinder's. Now, hey, all right. So barbecue wise, have you tried Blues Hog yet?
No.
Blues Hog. You have got to go. Most Ace Hardwares carry Blues Hog. So we are hooked on Blues Hog here. Blueberry Chipotle, Champions Blend. They got a Tennessee Red, and I just did a pork belly burn ends, and I used their Champions Blend pork rub. Oh, so good. Better than Kinder's, better than Salt Lick. Oh, it's amazing. Got to give it a shot.
All right.
I do too, but
Salt Lick, it's got to be good.
Yeah, well, so it doesn't have that. It's not as strong on the pepper as Salt Lick is. It's a little more brown sugar, and I still like my Salt Lick. So, like, especially on a butt. So if I get a Boston butt, put that Salt Lick on there, and then I also inject it with something sweet, and then at the end, dip it in something sweet, wrap it up and put a little bit of apple cider or something in there with it, and you get that like sweetness on top that caramelizes, but then you get that salt lick underneath it, and it's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna have to try it out,
Yeah.
man. Look
But
at that,
you
bro.
know,
The hour went by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good, man. It's always good. We've got to get our collective stuff together and figure out who is coming on next month, because season 2 is underway, and we've got a stack of guest requests that we got to get through.
Okay.
But you know, we've both got our fingers out there and seeing who we have, and if we don't get to you in season 2, there's always season 3. And
absolutely.
The plan is to have 12
out,
episodes once a month, but that doesn't mean we don't do more than that. That's just the plan right now. So
just know April is going to be a month where we only have one, and
we're busy. We're both busy.
Of April, or it's going to be a pre-recorded show. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
It happens. And March, I don't know what you got going on in March. March, we've got the meetup in Helen.
Open. Yeah, I'm open. I know y'all have the Helen, Georgia meetup. I still haven't pulled the trigger on that yet or not. Chuck keeps trying to convince me to pull the trigger on that, but
102 people are going to dinner on that one. That's
There's my
crazy.
answer. I'm not going to Helen. I love y'all, but come on, man. 102 people. That's a little insane.
102 people. I don't know if this German restaurant, I am still questioning on whether or not they're going to be able to get it done. But it's going to be a good time, though.
That's a lot. We'll see what happens, man. There's plenty of time between here and there. I know there's still some rooms available at that rate, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, man, it was good. Yeah, it sure was. We hadn't talked a whole lot since the holidays, so it's good to reconnect. And you looking good, man. And I know, like pre going on,
thinning out a little bit, just not the beard.
You got the Jubilee coming up. Next thing we got coming up is Marty Gro out at Busch Gardens, and Chastity and I are doing a bunch of cool little couples things that we've got going on, and we wanted to get to it in our podcast or in our live stream, but we're doing the adventure challenge for couples, which we'll talk about a little bit, and we're going to stay in a tiny house for Valentine's Day, so we're going to see how that turns out. Nice. We're actually Saturday. I'm really fired up about this. This is going to be fun. So we've ordered this junior fire pit. It's like this big, and it comes with these little sticks, and we're going to do a pillow fort. It's part of this adventure challenge for couples. So we're going to do a pillow fort, and we're going to watch like a romance movie eating s'mores. So
nice.
We're indoors.
See, it's the little moments like that, right? Like it's those things like that that you and her will cherish forever. So enjoy that. Other than that, when's your next live, man? Next live stream?
So the plan is next Tuesday. We're trying to stay consistent with the live streams, but life happens. I've started a new job. So started that new job in December, and I'm traveling less, but for longer periods of time. So that's going to be not really an issue, but it's going to change the game a little bit. So I may be in New Mexico doing this peer-to-peer. Chastity and I may be doing a shooting the breeze like you and I are doing this podcast right now, but
from different places.
But I was having some health problems last year, and it was time for me to bring my stress level down. So
that's it, man.
This job has definitely done that.
There you go. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
So,
well, I got my
we appreciate
tomorrow night. So
that's right.
You ain't got nothing to do tomorrow night. You can come watch my ugly mug for an hour. 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, right?
10 o'clock. Yeah. 10 o'clock Eastern. 10 p.m. Don't come at 10 o'clock in the morning because I'll probably still be in bed sleeping. No, I'll be up. But I
try to hang in there, but I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can go do my cold plunge.
It's tough, right? Like I picked that time because it was like the most convenient time at the time for me with my job, and then my job changed, and now it's like the not most convenient time, but it still works, right? It works out. I get.
You get the West Coast folks
with me. Yeah, I get the West Coast folks, and I get those through and through East Coast folks. Man, they'll stay up and they'll rally out for a whole hour after the show. If
us, we'll be there, and if we have to pull out early, we'll definitely catch it on replay. And for those that are catching this on replay, thank you guys.
For those of y'all catching this on the replay, that's a word you won't hear me say often. I ain't pulling out nothing.
But yeah, so and Mike, what you got cruises coming up too, right?
Oh yeah, man. I got 25 days until the Vista, and then April is jam packed with amazing stuff. I keep seeing Lourdes's messages in here. Lourdes, I did get your message. Don't worry. I am in cahoots of meeting up with everybody in Barcelona on that for that meetup. So, and then I got the Glory, man. And then July I got Utopia of the Seas. I'm definitely going to hit that Margaritaville ship through sometime this summer, and then October I'm on the Magic.
So you may be getting a message from one of our followers. She was asking some questions. She didn't understand what dry dock meant about the Glory because we put out our review of the Glory and it wasn't great. I mean, I think the video was good, but you know, we don't sugarcoat anything. We tell it like it is. And the ship's definitely due for dry dock. Not that it's a terrible ship, but honest, you know, opinion, it's due.
Right.
So, you know, in the reply to her comment, I said, hey, go over and follow the Thenauticruiser. He's going to be ferrying that ship back on the transatlantic. So before she gets on it. And, so, you know, she may hit you up for some information and hopefully you
that's fine, man. I'm
there.
glad to give everybody information there. That's no problem. I definitely plan on showing all the new things and showing the things that were repaired on that ship. So,
so we can definitely do. But that sounds like that's going to be our podcast for that month is the experience we had on the booze cruise and how it looks now, right? So you're still going to have the best piano player on the high seas on that ship, right?
No, I'm not going to.
No, he's moving.
Yeah, he's currently on the Glory now, and then he's got another ship. He gets off
staying with Carnival.
I do. Yeah, he's staying with Carnival. So, but he's not going to be on the transatlantic. So that's a little disheartening. But I get to cruise on it with some amazing people in my community and in the life. So, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So hey, everybody, go watch the Thenauticruiser tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard
Open conversation. Bring your questions. I will answer any question you got that I can provide the answer to.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to print out all of these comments, and when I print all these comments out, I will be in the chat asking every one of them like they're my question.
That's fine. You can do that. You can do that.
All right. Hey, we appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much for coming in here. Be on the lookout for our next peer-to-peer in the month of February. Check the Moonlight Adventures out every Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and check out Nauti. He's actually over here or there. Check out Nauti. Good Lord, why is this so hard? Check out Nauti. Look at that. There we go. Check out Nauti. This guy over here. Check him out. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. So yeah, if you watch Beach Please, just go right on over and watch Nauti right after that. So yeah, Thursday's a great night. So and Lovey comes on Thursdays as well. So don't want to leave him out. So that's a good lineup, right? So Lovey, Beach Please, and then you get Nauti. So
and you get Nauti Hour. And tomorrow it's open conversation. So when I mean open conversation, I mean any question, no holds barred. Ask what you got to ask. Now, keep it around travel. Inappropriate questions will not be read. That's your warning.
Booze Cruise Bar Crawl questions will all be sent to the round file.
Yep, that's where they're going.
But other than that,
I plead the fifth on that one.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. Thank you, Mike. And we are Peer-to-Peer Travel Chats Podcast, and we are out.